Well, part of the government's BIM initiative, which was launched April last year, is about the inefficiencies in our industry. Unlike manufacturing, we're about 30% wasted money within constructing, designing buildings, and that can be escalated 10 times that with running buildings. So the actual operation of buildings is key. The actual resource failure, the material wastage. I mean, the construction industry is one of the biggest users of energy in any industry. It's probably one of the major concerns for greenhouse gases, but it actually contributes to one of the key contributors to GDP. So it's an obvious thing of why it's an important industry, hasn't really been touched. Most of the other industries have been touched, therefore there's a key for the inefficiencies and addressing the inefficiencies, and also health and safety and the social aspects of that as well.
How long before buildings have big enough brains that they can talk to each other?
Well, in a sense, the technology is there to do a lot of those efficiencies that we talk about. So in a sense, it's about looking at the ideas. What we do is link at the moment. It wasn't so long ago that engineers were walking around with clipboards, interviewing staff, and then calling yellow pages to look after buildings. That moved on to CAFM systems, computer-aided FM systems, facilities management systems, and that talks about pre-planned maintenance on electronic on computers and unplanned maintenance, and recording those and recording the data and KPIs on that. We're now at BAM have developed that to look at producing a model, retrofitting models of buildings with the asset registers, with the data sets. That's producing efficiencies that pre-planned maintenance of buildings has been improved 50% in our teams, and unplanned maintenance is 45%. And that's just having the available information, and most of this is about communication. It's about data. We're only using 0.5% of the data that exists at the moment, so 99.5% is not being used. So the extent of actually how can we improve that, what we're looking at is linking in the building management system to the CAFM system, and importantly linking sensors to all the equipment to actually feedback real-time information. And therefore, if you can link that to it, the next office stage, that technology is there now. If you can link that and actually look at artificial intelligence, that buildings can start to think for themselves. They can record the lighting levels, they record the ventilation levels, they can record occupancy, they can record density in buildings, they record the weather outside, they can record basically if landscape needs irrigation, bins need cleaning because the weight of them is under. Toilets need cleaning because the number of towels have been used or the hand dryers have been used. That information, the technology is there to do that. So all it's actually asking the computer to do is take that data, use algorithms, take the data sets, look at trends and patterns and anticipate what could happen and adapt to that. So it's a very simple move to the extent that to actually make our buildings much more efficient in the way how they're run.
Do we need to be concerned at the march that is going on in Asia in this area? Do we need to work really hard and keep investing to keep up with Asia in this area?
Well, in a sense, if you look at the supercomputers and where they're going, Japan is building its artificial intelligence supercomputer at the moment. By mid-2018 next year, it will be there, and it will be able to undertake 130 billion calculations per second. So they see artificial intelligence as the way forward, and actually a supercomputer doing that. As opposed to in the States, the Titan computer at the moment can only do 19 billion calculations per second, which seems quite a lot, but obviously the power of 130 and what that can do and bring those decisions forward and actually take that on board is quite considerable. So I don't think you should be concerned. The Japanese inevitably push technology, they take an idea and push it to another limit, and we learn from that. It's actually working together to achieve what's best. Overall.
And what about the threat that comes with this AI? I'm thinking about the WannaCry NHS, which I think you've talked about before. What can we do to protect ourselves?
Well, I suppose it's looking at the protection, and I suppose from a security point of view, there's personal data, and there's commercial data, and there's countrywide security. If you look at personal data, there is concern that DeepMind with Google have linked up with the Royal Free Hospital, and the concern is personal data available to certain people. There are criteria on that, and there's legislation that's in that with the government bodies and European standards coming in to say what you can and can't do that, and that's becoming even more stringent. I think the fact is the security and the concerns we're always concerned. People with servers and digital servers at the moment. The ex-head of White House security said, don't believe that even if you've got a server at the moment that it hasn't been hacked. You just don't know it has been hacked. So the cloud format of collecting data is no less secure. In fact, it could be more secure. The question about, I suppose, is if you get hacked and your whole system goes down, well then, again, the same, we do backups elsewhere and have a secondary system. We're not going back to paper copies and having separate systems in archives. That's where our FM systems, our buildings have failed and nobody uses, and they're left in a dark archive, never to be seen again.
What's the journey that BAM wants to take in the future with all this?
Well, BAM has an interest. It's a worldwide company. It has its own property development business, it has its own design business, has its own construction business and facilities management business, and we occupy our own buildings. Our clients, we have 25-year relationships with key clients like Argent at King's Cross. They're interested in their own and where they're developing whole neighbourhoods and new cities. Therefore, there's a common goal that we work with the clients, what they want, and it actually helps us at the same time, not only for our brand value, winning more work, improving our own margins, but actually the key thing, what's been missed and what Government Soft Landings is addressing, is the social aspect. The people, ultimately, we're not building buildings to be empty, we're building buildings to be used, spaces to be used, and become more efficient, and for workers, employees, to be more happier at work and their lifestyle and how they deal with that. So the push emphasis is that, and our emphasis is, working with Argent, is to develop good employee relationships, better facilities, apps to make their life easier and how they work, and the different lifestyles. A more agile workforce becomes more productive, happier, and you can see the likes of certain companies, Google, and the environment they produce is more important than anything else. We looked at one of their buildings, and clean air was their main priority goal for their staff. They saw clean air as the important for productivity. Therefore, how do you make sure you guarantee clean air? And that's part of this technology and artificial intelligence, sensor technology, etc. coming in. So the key is pushing to the operational side and the building users and happier employees. That means companies get the best employees because they want to work for you because you're what you're providing for them.